one of the things that the MedSync model kind of allows is really giving your patients kind of a single like point of contact at the pharmacy. So in Pioneer, we call those health coaches, and that's something that you guys have really adapted to and utilize health coaches in a lot of your workflow. So how have you seen that kind of difference and managing your patients like lead to better adherence or better outcomes?
Oh, it's been great. Really what it does, it's sort of a full circle thing. So you assign a health coach to a patient, and it's either, for us, it's either a particular person or one of two people that can help share that role in case somebody's out or not. But the bottom line is in 90% of these people are done through my technicians. And so the technicians get to know the patient extremely well. They're really good on the phone with them. The patients get to know them really well. They trust them. And so it's an easy conversation for them to have. And it develops a lot of trust on the patient side, but it also develops a lot of worth on the technician side. They're not just sitting there filling bottles and putting pills in bottles all day and putting in prescriptions. They're talking to these patients and really making a difference in these patients' lives by keeping them adherent and learning a lot as they go about what to do, what not to do, how to interact with patients on certain levels and when to defer. So they're gaining a large skill set, but also a lot of worth in their position, which makes them feel better, which makes them a better employee, which makes them happier at work. And then the patient knows that they can call in and talk to this person at any point in time, and they have their best interest at heart. So for us, it's a great way to grow both sides of the business, your employee base, and making a nice, happy workspace for them, but also growing your patient base and knowing that you've got a lot of trust and really good care coming from that side of it. So that's the way we utilize it.
I think that's such an important point. Of course, the patient side where you have that single point of contact, there's a big difference when you call, hey, I'm going to call the pharmacy to get my prescriptions filled, or, hey, I'm going to call and ask Catherine a question, right? Like I have a person there. So that's a huge difference. But the other part that I think as a business owner that you touched on is so important is that, people, I think especially in healthcare, but a lot of people are motivated by so much more than, just a paycheck. Like you get so much more from work than a paycheck. And having that real, like, those are my patients, I don't work at Hayes Barton Pharmacy. I'm part of Hayes Barton Pharmacy. It's,
that's the kind of environment we want to cultivate. It's and it's so important to be able to do that for our technicians, because they do so much of the work in our store that we want them to feel as valued or more than anybody else. And so we, 10 years ago, when everybody called, they wanted to talk to the pharmacist. I need to speak to Brent. I need to speak to Jerry. I need to speak to Mary. All the pharmacists, and we're on the phone nonstop. And as an owner and a pharmacist and doing other clinical things, it's nearly impossible because you're changing tasks like nonstop, on the phone nonstop. And now, like, I was just on the phone and I picked up the phone before I got up here to do this interview. And I was like, oh, hey, Miss McNeil, how are you? She was like, no, I'm calling to talk to Allison. Allison was it was good to talk to you. I'll talk to you later. So, and that's just kind of, and it takes a while to make that culture, and it takes a lot of grooming for, somebody to do that. Some technicians and some people are just good on the phone, some aren't, but it's not just that. It's, okay, well, what are you looking for? What are these changes that we need to note? How do we document those? And then how do we get the patient involved for this and doing stuff like that. So it's a growing of skill set, but also responsibility and therefore worth. And it just it's worked really well for us for employees, and to help retain employees and really get help. So where companies were losing people left and right, during the whole pandemic, thing. We never lost a single person, and we only kind of gained from that. So I think it's a lot to be said, but I think it's a great way to approach it, and having that health coach available to help organize that in a way has been key for us.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, that's the cornerstone of any community pharmacy, is that community connection to community and having that part of your team. But then there's also, as a business owner, some efficiencies that come with that. And I know that's one thing that you guys have been able to do is kind of break down specific workflow queues and look at reports and look at all those things kind of on a smaller scale with some autonomy to those individuals.
Yep, absolutely. We have, and we have developed a workflow over the years that has been, light years ahead of where we were 10 years ago, and we're massively ahead we were 5 years ago, and we had a meeting today to reconstruct some of the things that we're doing today. So we're always fine tuning it. And I think one of the most important things for that is, as an owner, I can't do it all. I don't want to do it all. I don't want to be a micromanager. I'm not going to do that. So I really make sure that the people that are heading up that workflow have a lot of ownership in that. And part of having ownership in it is always trying to make the process better. And so in doing that, we have to revisit that every so often to make sure that we're not missing something, that we couldn't make something a little bit better. And so we had a meeting this morning, and my two full-time technicians are just talking circles around me because wait a minute. Y'all know way more about this workflow than I do. And I'm going to support this in whatever way it needs to happen. But y'all have to figure it out, work it out the way you want it to look like, and then come back to me with the solution, and then we'll kind of create the best outcome of it all. But that's been the great part of it, is they have so much knowledge and ownership of it now that they want to see it work the best, because they know that that's going to help them and help the patient in the long term.
Thanks for listening to this clip from Beyond the Scripts, presented by the Catalyst Pharmacy Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please support our channel by liking, subscribing, and clicking the notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime we post new content. To stay up to date with all of the latest independent pharmacy news and content, follow PioneerRx on your preferred social media platform.